Hello and welcome to the Maggie Emerson Show, episode number 3. Originally it's still on the pictures, but when you watch this in the future, this has been changed. It was called Self-Care is the New Black, but I'm calling it Self-Care is the New Sexy, because self-care is it's an inside job. Yes, self-care, we look at the delight of receiving a massage, of going for a spa day. That might be something for some of you. It might not be for all of you. Some people don't like massages. Imagine that. I'm actually very picky with who massages my body. That person needs to have very little, if not very little, judgment in the world. I don't like hands touching me that have judgment. But self-care is the new sexy, and I want to talk about it's not all the fancy stuff that we in a sense, some people strive to. I personally love getting pedicures. I don't love manicures. I remember listening to another really amazing coach, and she told a story about getting her nails done. That was something, actually not a self-care thing, but proving a point, like proving something. And so I want to talk about this reality and how you can create your own reality and really take care of yourself in a way that honors you, who you are, and everything that you have going in your world. On my way, I will just say I'm like super teary today, and I couldn't necessarily pinpoint a thing. There, we all have a lot going on in our world, and this is what I realized as I left my son's school today. I was just recognizing even him as a little 9-year-old. There's so much more that we are connected to these days, with technology, with expectations, with whatever there's I'm a little tongue-tied. There's so much more that we're connected to. Like, even if I look at when I was a 9-year-old, it was come home from school, play outside, play in the barn, and watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and what was the other one? Family Matters, and what else was it? There's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Full House. That was what we watched. And that was kind of it. And then there was TV shows that we'd watch together in a family, because there wasn't this thing where we could all have our own devices and go and do our own thing, and in a sense feel very separated in an interesting world. And we get to have perspective on this, right? Like, just have perspective on it. And I guess there's so many points I want to get across. I actually have a list of stuff. But I want to give you information that you can take with you to really indulge in self-care for yourself. And especially, if your things are coasting along great, awesome. Adding this will just make things greater. If you're feeling frustrated, exhausted, overwhelmed, just uncertain, add this stuff to your life. And if you want to just take a nice deep breath with me, that's actually number one thing. Self-care is actually pausing and allowing yourself to breathe, right? Self-care means that you're taken care of. One of the things I noticed when recently, I'm literally coming through a phase in my world where I overdid it, totally overdid it. And really had to learn how to take care of myself and find the internal care. So there was a lot going on. So here's what's happening when you're not taking care of yourself internally. You're judging yourself. You're comparing yourself to others. You're making yourself wrong in many ways. You're making yourself wrong for who you are, the uniqueness that you be. What else is there? There's a sense of not feeling good in your body, right? There's a disconnect from your body. And so what does it look like on the other side of that, right? It means you're confident in yourself. You have a connection with your body. You have the joy within you, that joy within you that is exuberant and contagious, right? And like self-care in that matter is actually stopping those thoughts from occurring in your mind, making a switch, like you're flipping a switch, you're switching a perspective of how your brain functions. And it's time. If you've got a lot of mind chatter, it's time. It's time to find the thing that will help you switch that, so you can step into the place of being in an energetic space of really allowing yourself to thrive. There's no reason you can't be thriving. And I even look at that. I mean, I don't want to go at like, I have a family member that needs a big operation. My kiddo's having some serious challenges. I've had some serious challenges, and yet there's a thrival in that because these are in place. It means, like for me, and this is something you got to ask yourself, so am I taking care of myself? Like, am I truly taking care of myself, or am I looking for the world to take care of me? Right? Am I truly taking care of myself, or am I looking for the world to take care of me? The funny yet ironic piece that occurs actually is that when you're taking care of yourself, the world takes care of you. When you're not taking care of yourself, it seems like the world is not taking care of you. But everything that we create in our lives is of our own creation. So, and I say that with hesitation too, because there are some things that occur in our lives that don't make sense, but there are ways to boost ourselves. So I just want to give you, I want you to look at this. And one of the biggest things I do and I teach and everything is to get curious, to ask questions, right? It's not about making a conclusion. It's not. It really isn't. When you make a conclusion, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But this whole self-care piece and being sexy and feeling like being sexy, choosing sexy, allowing yourself to be fueled from the inside out, comes from listening, like getting curious. Well, how, this reality says you need 8 hours of sleep. Have you asked yourself, checked in with your body, how much sleep do you need? There are some days where I don't need as much sleep as others because I've been rejuvenated and energized from other areas. There are some days that I need more, right? And I just listen in, and the more I listen into that, so this is an intuitive piece too to self-care, is really listening to yourself, not giving up your power to anyone else. Really listening to yourself as to what's required, right? You might have a partner that likes to go to sleep at the same time. That may not work for you. So how do you go about changing it so that you're actually taking care of you and you're not taking care of someone else and leaving yourself on the back burner, right? Food, right? This reality has a really big opinion about what's good and what's bad. And you can tell, if you pay attention, you can tell if what foods feel good and bring the lightness and joy and what it's like to be a living person in the world versus, eating foods because you have to, or judging yourself. You know that saying, you are what you eat? You are. And if you're sitting there with your plate in front of you and judging it, you're eating judgment and fueling your body with judgment, and that feels like shit. I'll tell you, because I've done that in the past. That's a whole different thing about bodies. Listening, intuition, self-care. I could just bottle it down, like self-care, beyond, before you get to the massage, before you get to the spa, before the pedicure and everything, boils down to listening to yourself, right? You were here, you were actually born with everybody is. It's something that we get to tap into. It's something that we get to it evolves. It's not something necessarily instantaneous. Some people it is, some people it isn't. And it's something that you can start now, is start listening to those little whispers, those nudges that tell you, eat this, eat that, and allow that and your body and your intuition to show you the way with eating. Some people will joke with me when I talk about this and be like, oh, so if I feel like chocolate, I should eat chocolate all day? Give it a try. Notice how your body feels. If your body feels better, go for it. I remember, here's a little side note, all my side notes. I often will ask my body what I need, and it was, how many years ago? It was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's still so vivid in my mind. I was at my office, I had clients coming up to do energetic body work, which I still do a little bit, but mostly with people who I know. and have been clients in the past, and I go to them anyways. I wanted something that would make my body feel like light and energized, because I had a lot going on that day. So I asked my body, okay, body, what do we need? And I do this a lot, and I've talked about this on other shows, and I'll talk about it more because this is what I love to teach and facilitate, is like really listening to the intuition. So I asked, and taking care of myself, right? Listening to that piece of what your body needs. So I asked, say, body, what can I eat that will allow me to feel light, expansive, and energized? And all of a sudden, this one of my favorite places to eat at that point in time, and it's still a delightful place, I just don't go there anymore, is called the Yellow Carrot, and they have these sandwiches that I actually forget the name, it's been so long, but it's like, you look at it and it's like this beautiful bun that's like delicious and gluten-free. There's bacon and avocado and meat, or I think it was like a turkey bacon avocado with yummy flavored mayo and all this stuff. And I just kind of went, really, body? Really? And it's huge. It's like really big. Like normally I wouldn't eat the whole thing. So anyways, I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen. Like I trust myself. I listen. So I go get this sandwich. I eat it. And I eat the whole damn thing. Right? And afterwards I feel light, energized, and all the things I asked. It didn't make sense. But that's the thing. Intuition doesn't make sense all the time. But if you actually listen and follow through on the intuition, you will get exactly what you're looking for. If I went to the logical and I went and had like salad, because that's what should make you feel light, I probably would have been dragging the rest of the day. I'm not going to go try it out to prove my point, because I don't want to be dragging. But that's the thing. Self-care is listening to you, to your intuition, to your instincts. I know as a mama, I was talking to someone else the other day that they said they figured this was from mama instincts, and I just kind of like looked at them and said, you might know a little bit more than just being a mama with mama intuition, and light bulb goes off and she gets to go and have that. But it's a huge part of self-care. Just say you've said yes to a party and you just feel like you don't want to go, and you can check in, get curious again, ask, okay, do I not want to go because this is going to be like new and uncomfortable and it's what I've been asking for? Or do I not want to go because I really just need to relax and have a moment? Listen to it, get tapped in. There's inside a lot of my work with people is really tapping into what your yes, no is. Having that sense of being drawn to something, a powerful draw to something because it's for you. Right? It's that the expansion of what you're here to be, here to step into. There's also a draw to something if it's something that you're distracting yourself with, right? And then there's also the, oh no, right? That oh hell no, as my best friend Kate would say. Oh hell no, right? And in knowing that, when you get a no hell no, or even a no, or even like a you follow that. I just actually had one of those the other day, and I said yes to something, and then I had this like weird, just not even weird. It just was like, oh no, after I had said yes, and I got to change it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And that is self-care, and that is sexy, right? A couple other things I want you to look at, ask is if you're drained and stuff, are people draining you? Self-care is be surrounding yourself with people, community, environments that support you and lift you up. Are you able to ask for what you need in your world? Self-care. The sexy self-care is asking for what you want. Let's actually talk a little bit about this too, because for the longest time I worried about being the demanding woman, right? And no, that's not the case, right? You get to ask for what you want. You get to be clear on what it is you desire. Even if it's simple, do you like a certain, I know, some people like cream in their coffee, some people like not, but what if you're at a restaurant and all they have is cream on the table and you really like milk in your coffee? Do you have I don't even have a word, but would you take care of yourself to ask for the milk, right? You're not a bother when you're asking for that, and that is taking care of yourself, not allowing yourself to feel like a bother, not allowing yourself to feel ashamed that you have big desires or that you want to request what you want. That is self-care. And sure, massages, everything else, in between that you want. But what would it be like if you practiced a level of self-care from the inside out that allowed you to have more of you, then you could show up even bigger in your world. And by bigger in your world, I don't mean like in your bigger way. Maybe that's more energy. Maybe that's less distractions. Maybe that's less overwhelmed. You get to find out. So ciao for now. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for being a part of the Maggie Emerson Show. Before we go, actually, if you know of anyone, or please do share this so that the people who are looking to hear this message today can find it, can hear it, and can shift into some beautiful self-care along the way. Ciao for now.